Okay, so there's been a few changes to Fusion 360, the CAD program that we use in school, and that is that now they ask for an official check. They're asking your school to send a verification of your age and your enrolment, so that you can use their free education license for students. So the problem here is if you're under that threshold age, I think it might be 13 or 14. If you're under that age, then the school can't verify your age and you won't be able to access the program. This is because Fusion 360 is like a social media application whereby it can share your identity and your designs across the internet. Okay, so there are alternatives that you can use that don't ask for this verification check or don't require you to be of a certain age, and these would be SketchUp and Tinkercad, and there's also FreeCAD. There's also one that doesn't ask for verification, and that is OnShape. Now, OnShape is web-based, and this is the one that we're going to be using in this video. OnShape is web-based, and that means that you can use it on any operating system, so Mac or PC or whatever else you're using. The bad thing about OnShape is because it's web-based, it means if you don't have a stable internet connection or have an internet connection at all, you're not going to be able to really use it. So, if you've got a stable internet connection and you've got a access to the internet, which I'm guessing you have because otherwise you wouldn't be able to see this, then it shouldn't be a huge problem to use. Plus, it's completely free, and hopefully this video will show you how to use it a little bit. Now, in this video, we're going to actually be drawing our Pinewood Derby, which is a grade 6 project, and we do draw this by freehand, but a lot of students do like to have a go at drawing it in computer-aided design, which is CAD. So, without further ado, let me show you how to get onto it. So if you go to Google and type in OnShape, you will get that first result. Now it will ask you to sign in or sign on. So if you're going to sign on, obviously you're going to have to put in your details. It's going to ask you for your phone number. They're not going to phone you up, but I suggest you don't give them your own personal phone number because it's a good idea to start protecting your privacy and details. You can give them your school email address, and you can either give them your parents with their permission, their phone number, or the school's phone number to the main operating switchboard. I wouldn't suggest you give them your own personal phone number. Okay, so we've logged on, we've signed up, we've put in our details, we've now got OnShape. And you're going to be presented with this screen. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a project. So we go to create, and we're going to create a document there. And we can call that whatever we want. So I'll call it Derby Racer. And we'll give it a little bit of time because it's web-based. It's not computer-based. And you should see this screen. Now, this screen is a two-dimensional representation of a three-dimensional environment. We can see the front, we can see the side, and if we stood above, we can see the base or the top of the table. Okay, so if we think about those times that we were drawing our Pinewood Derby cars, and we drew the side view, and then directly above that side view we drew the top view, and then to the side of that side view we may have drawn the front view or the back view. Okay, and I called that an orthographic projection. Okay, so we can either draw the front and then push things back, we can draw the side, or the right side in this case, push things back, or we can draw the top and bring things up or push things down. It's a good idea to decide what you're going to draw, how you're going to draw it before you start drawing it. For example, if I drew the top, let's just go to the top. If I drew the top of the car here, so if you follow that mouse there, if I drew the top of the car there and went back into a 3D, you can see that the front It's actually the side. And even though we know what we're doing, it's a good idea not to do that sort of thing, because when we start doing complex shapes and products, we can get in a bit of a tangle if the front is now the side view and the side is actually the top view and things like that. So it's a good idea to just have a look, think about what we're going to draw, and then start drawing it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to draw the right side view. So that would be a block of wood, and then I'm going to push it back. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to model using a subtraction method. So what we'll do is we'll make a solid block. Let's call that the pine wood or the wood, the gelaton or whatever you're going to be given. We're going to draw the block of wood, and then we'll draw the profile and push that excess wood away, and that should give you the shape of your car. Then we can add the wheels if you want. So first of all, let's have a look at the dimensions that we need. Well, the Pinewood Derby car is 7 inches long, so that's about 178 millimeters. The Pinewood Derby car is 1.25 inches high, so about 30 millimeters high, 3 centimeters, 1.75 wide, and there's your classic number, 45 millimeters. And if you remember from your specifications, your Pinewood Derby car, the wheels must not be closer widthwise than 45 millimeters, because of course we know that it needs to fit on the rails of the Pinewood Derby track. Okay, so I was converting inches to millimeters. I'm going to have to do the same thing here. So the first thing we do is we go to the document, we're going to the workspace units, and default will always be in inches, and we're just going to change those to millimeters, and then we're going to press tick. Okay, so now that means everything should be in millimeters. So I said I was going to draw the right side view first, so why don't we go and click sketch. This is our new sketch here. It's going to open up a small window. Do not close that window, because that will cancel out your sketch. And if you press tick, it finishes your sketch. So if you've got a small screen, you're just going to have to maximize it, because that window does take a large proportion of your screen, especially if you're using a laptop. So it says select a sketch plane. Well, that means select a side of which you want to start drawing, and we're going to select the right side. And you can see that there, that the sketch is now occupied that right side, and given it almost a digital piece of paper. And if I go over to the view cube, as we used to call it in the good days of Fusion, we can actually click right, and there, and we can zoom out. If you've got a mouse, that makes life a lot easier, especially if you've got old man fingers like I have, and use the mouse wheel to zoom in and out, or you can click that mouse wheel and pan. And to pan is to simply move the canvas or the piece of paper around that you're drawing on, or your head, depending on how you think about it. Okay, first of all, there's a little dot in the middle. That is 0, 0, 0. That is 0 on the right side, 0 on the front side, and 0 on the top side. This is called the datum. It's the origin point. It's a good idea to start using that instead of just choosing an arbitrary or a made-up place to start drawing. Okay, so here we're going to start drawing in 0, 0, 0. Okay, and we're going to click a rectangle, and I'm going to start drawing my rectangle there. I've only clicked once, and now I can move that around freely, and you can see there are the dimensions. Now if you've got a very steady hand, you can actually select your dimensions by hand, but it's actually more precise to click, then select the dimension, which is just there, or D, select your line, and type in the value that you want. So 178 for that. Press enter. Give it a bit of time, because obviously it's web-based, so it's going to take a bit of time to refresh. And click that side, click that one, and 45 millimeters there. And that is now actually going to change, because I've just realized that I've drawn the top view. So what I did there, and probably quite good, I've put in a wrong dimension, double click that, that will bring up the dimension window, and we can actually look at the height of that, which was 1.25 inches, which is, let's say, 30. So I think I give you 28. Bad, isn't it? Okay, so that is the side view. That's better. That is the side view of your car, and in class this is the first thing we actually drew. Okay, well I've done the sketch that I want because we're doing the subtraction method. So what I do is I press the tick on the sketch and it will close it. Now let's say I pressed the cross by accident. Then what would happen is it would say, would you like to restore your sketch in the middle? And of course you can click that then, and that should bring it back. So if you press the cross, don't worry, just press restore, and if you press the tick, excellent, this is where you should be. Okay, let's have a look at the 3D view. So in order to get the 3D view, I was in the right view. If you have a look there, the top left of that, you can see if I hover my mouse over it, has a little blue area, and I click that. Okay, so now what's going to happen is I've got my side and I'm going to push it back, okay, to create a solid piece. So in order to do that, you're going to do something called extrude. Now extrusion, we all extrude once a morning, but another way of thinking about extrusion is when we clean our teeth, we squeeze the toothpaste out of the toothpaste tube. Now the toothpaste tube has a hole that is a circle, and as we squeeze that, we get a cylinder of toothpaste and a huge mess. So don't try it, just take my word. So we squeeze the toothpaste tube and the toothpaste comes out as a cylinder, and that is extrusion. So this is our profile. It's not a circle like toothpaste tubes, but it is a rectangle. So we're going to click extrude. It's going to ask me what do I want to extrude, and we are going new because it's a new solid. We don't have any solids yet. I'm going to click the surface there. I'm going to take that and I'm going to push it the other way, okay? And we are extruding it. Remember, the width was 45 millimeters. That was your specification width. I'm going to put 45. I think that looks nicer. Okay. So now we've got a solid block. Now we're going to do the subtraction part. So let's have a look at the right side view. We're going to draw the shape of the car here. Remember, it needs 2 wheels, so don't go crazy, okay? You still need to have a nice surface to put your wheels on. Okay, so we're going to draw on that plane there. I'm going to go back to 3D so you can see exactly what I'm about to do. I'm going to click sketch because we're going to start a new sketch. Select the sketch plane. I'm going to select that plane there so we don't get confused. This is now called sketch 2, not sketch 1. Sketch 1 has been hidden. You can always unhide it, but we don't need to. And now I look directly at it and I start drawing. So this is where you can be a bit creative and you can draw your car. So we've got the line tool. So if I wanted to be aerodynamic, I could start drawing like this. Okay, and just double click at the end. So there's my line tool, and that's quite a cool profile. If I didn't want that, of course, I can undo. So why don't we just undo a few of those lines? Let's say I wanted to do more of a curve. So I could do the spline. And double click that. So that's quite an interesting car. Probably a bit steep on there. Or let's say I don't want that, but actually I want a mixture. So let's go to the spline tool there. Actually, let's do something else. Let's do a circle. So I'm going to do a circle to start with, and then I'm going to do a line, and then it's going to come down, then across, then up, and I'm only doing it this way just to show you that you can be quite complex. Okay, and then I want the car to be down like that. and then I come across and double click there. Okay, well, we need to get rid of this, so this is where we can use the little trim tool, and that's the scissors, and now we can trim that. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Alright, let's undo and actually draw a car. So, first of all, aerodynamics. Probably want to think about aerodynamics. Do you want downforce or do you want lift? Interesting, think about it. There's obviously a catch, otherwise I wouldn't have mentioned it. So I am going to come up from there and I'm going to go like that. Think about where you want your weights. Do you want weights? Do you want weights at the front or do you want weights at the back? Do you want weights high up or do you want weights low down? Okay, and there's that car. It's coming along nicely. We're actually going to finish the shape. So I've actually gone line all the way around until I got to the front. Okay, it's a little bit Tesla, isn't it? So let's curve that around. Now you've got here, it's got the sketch fillet. A fillet is where we can actually make a curve. If you go too far, it's going to go red. Or you can just go like that. And click to make it happy. Let's do it again. 1, 2, and happy. So you can see the mouse prompts there already. Okay, so that's quite a decent-ish looking car. Let's have another go. We've got the 3-point arc. We can use this. I'm just showing you all the different tools you can use. So 1, 0.2, and there. So you can see that my flat edge there is where I'm going to put one wheel, and my flat edge there is where I'm going to put the other wheel. Okay, well, when I'm happy with what I've drawn, I can actually stop that sketch. Okay? Now remember, we're doing the subtraction method. I've stopped the sketch by pressing the tick. I've gone back to that top left-hand corner. I'm zooming in using my wheel. If I don't want to see all these origin lines, if I don't want to see these, I can actually hide them. I'm not deleting them. I'm just hiding them for now. I'm going to press extrude. Now remember I said extrude was like toothpaste coming out of the tube. Extrude can also subtract. So let's go here, and what we're going to do is we are going to remove. And I'm going to click this, and you can see it's already removed. Look at that, and I can just keep going. Remove that. And press OK. Alright, and that's removed that. And now I did actually have something here that I wanted to remove. So, trouble is I can't see it anymore. Remember, nothing is deleted. Things are just hidden. So let's go here, and there's the eye. You see the eye with the line in it? So let's do that. Subtract. We're going to remove that as well. Can you see that it keeps selecting that? The reason I'm doing it selecting that is because of that first sketch we did. So that's getting in the way. So what can we do about that? Well, of course, we can hide it, and then it can't select it. That makes life easy, doesn't it? Okay. Click to select. Click to select another one. So I can click multiples. And now I push that back. And you see that shadow? That's like hidden detail. Some of us learnt about that in class. Okay, so that is that. Now if you're using a mouse, you are right clicking and you can move it around. The only trouble is it's slightly difficult because the axis keeps changing. If you're using a mouse pad, that would be your secondary click. So normally 2 fingers move. Okay, normally. Okay, let's go back to our standard view. So on the side it looks like this, and on the front it looks like this. Rectangle. We've seen these before. If we look directly above, so if we go here and go top view, rectangle, is this going to give me a lot of friction on the wheels? If you think it is, you might want to do something about it. Now you can't add anything because we're already at 45 millimeters, remember? That was a minimum. So what we could do is we could cut away. So it's getting a bit complicated, but what we're going to do is we're going to try and mirror stuff, because obviously we want that side to be symmetrical to that side. Okay, let's hide that sketch so we don't get into any problems, and I'm going to try and mirror something. So we want to draw on this plane here. So let us put the top view back on. Sketch, select our plane. We're going to draw here. So we're actually drawing here. And I know that the wheels are going to be about there and there. How do I know that? Because that flat area there and that flat area there. Okay, so we come back. Alright, so what we can do is if I do, I'm going to do some rectangles. So if I do a rectangle there and a rectangle there and a rectangle there. No, sorry, do another rectangle here. What I'm thinking about doing is I'm going to get rid of that. I want to keep that. I'm going to get rid of that. I want to keep that, and I'm going to get rid of that. And I want that exactly the same on the other side. So if I do that, I can mirror. In order to mirror, you need to say where the mirror is going to be. So I'm going to draw this line. So let's zoom in. Then I'm going to draw another line. And you see, if I hover over it, it becomes a square. And if I keep that straight, that's going to go, you can see the right angle icon there. And I'm going to click that. And then double click. And that's going to be my mirror line. So, do you remember we were talking about construction lines? I'm going to turn these lines, because I'm not really bothered about them. I don't want to draw them into construction lines. So there's a little construction line there. So if I click that one off, select that. Shift and that. So there's that T that I just drew. The line there with the mirror line. Then I can actually turn that into a construction line. Click off it. Then I'm going to highlight those. Click mirror. Select the mirror line, which is that one. And it should bring it straight over. Okay. And tick when you're happy. Now if we go back to this area, you can see these are the lines that I'm going to now extrude. So let's extrude and subtract. So we're going to remove that one and that one, but we're keeping that one, that one. Let's turn that around, that one and that one, and we're going to keep the others. Okay, so like I said, remove, keep. They're the parts of the car that we're going to attach the wheels to, and just drag those up, and then you can press enter. So now we've got a much smaller amount rubbing against that wheel. Okay, of course I can do the same to here. So if I look at the front and we create another sketch, let's choose that. Let me just show you what I've just chosen. Okay, so I'm actually going to choose that. So we're going to draw there. So start looking at it. That is that front plane, that is that back plane. And this one, we will go from there straight up. And if we just hover without clicking, we got a guide rail. Click there, straight. Again, look, see, up, and that's quite nice, like a bit magnetic. Okay, and now if I subtract those, remove, now I've got my car with a lot less friction on those wheels. Okay. All right. Well, it's a little bit square. So what can I do? Well, remember the fillet that we used for the sketch? There's a fillet for the solid, which is here. So I can actually click that, and I can click that one and that one. Let's turn around. That one and that one. And if I zoom in, I can actually use the handle to do this nicely there. Look at that. And that's going to give me a little bit more aerodynamics. Okay. So now you can pretty much play around with it. You could put a person in there, you can hollow that out, you could put holes already in so you know exactly where the weights are going to go. You could make a little hole there and there so you know exactly where the wheels are going to go. And this is your car. What else could I fill it? Let's just have a look, see what else is possible. Look, I can make it round there. I can make it round there. Now at some point it's going to stop letting you fill it. And then it's going to go red and it's going to have an error. So let's see if we can actually get that to happen. Normally it happens when you don't want it to, and I bet you it's not going to happen this time. Oh, look, it works. So let's just keep that. Okay, well, let's finish it off. Let's make some wheels, and then we'll put the wheels on there. Now, of course, because it's CAD, we can actually just draw one wheel, and then we can copy and paste it. So easiest place to put the wheel is where the wheels are going to go. So if we go new sketch, select that face, there's your sketch 5, and of course it's a circle. Look directly at it, makes your life easier. Zoom in, the center of the circle is going to be there. I think I've given you 20 mils, I think. So if I just go here, then go to dimension, and type in 20, press enter, and that is our wheel. Now I can either copy the sketch and extrude it 4 times, but easier to extrude it now so that I can just copy that part. This sometimes gets a little bit tricky because if I extrude it, so 1 looks a bit weird, 2, that's the sketch. We are going to make our own wheels from laser cut acrylic or MDF. If you can get the acrylics, are much faster. But don't tell anyone I told you that. And if I think we use 6mm acrylic. Now, so that's a depth of 6mm. If I add it, then it becomes part of the car. So if you think about it like this, if I create a wheel that is part of the car and the car is wood, then the wheel is wood and it won't move because it's part of the car. So the wheel is actually separate. The wheel is new. Okay, and that's why it's just gone to that. So now the wheel is a separate part. It's important to understand your parts. We're going to be having 5 parts. 1 part is the car, 4 parts are the wheels. Okay, so let's go tick, and there's our wheel, and we can see that it's a different color, it's a different part. So if this was blue and that was blue, you've got a problem. You might need to double click your part and undo your extrusion and then turn it to add. So this is our part, right click. Can I copy easily? I have never tried this. There's a linear pattern. Now linear simply means, in this case we're going to call it a line, and the pattern means a repetition. So we want to repeat it, and we're going to repeat it across that way. So if I go linear pattern, the entity to pattern is that. The direction, click direction, is that direction going straight across. And the distance going all the way back, so we're going to have to eyeball this one. The total is 170, so 125. Click down there. Oh, look at that. Let's have a look at that view. Why don't we do 128? Click down there. Good. And look, we've got a second direction. Okay, getting complicated, but why not? This video is long enough as it is. So second direction, we're going to go that way. So that direction is there, going across. Instant count, we've got the 1 already, we're doing 2. There it is. Let's go back to that view, we can see it, and I said 45mm apart plus the 6. should be correct, should it? There you go. And that is 6 mil. So that would be 51. And there you have it. So that distance there. So we're going to go OK with that. Good luck with that one. And there you have your Pinewood Derby car. Now, I'll be honest, this actually looks neater than the Fusion ones. And the reason is you're keeping it a lot more simple. Fusion's pretty good, can make it look really realistic and everything, but there's so many buttons. Okay, should we just have a quick check to see that distance? And if I pressed shift and that, so look, I went there, I selected that, hold shift, press that, 45 millimeters apart. I am within my specifications, and that is my Pinewood Derby car on OnShape for free without needing a huge letter from school and having to wait a few months for them to answer it. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say. I'm now going to close. Feel free to ask me about this if you're stuck. I can show you in class, but do try and just follow the process of what I've done. Copy the car if you need to. Don't do anything brave yet. When you've created your first car, then you can go wild, because you'll be able to understand a bit more of how to do it. And good luck, and I'll see you.